Peace, 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 peace. What's up, my great vibers? Peace, the first, the last. This is your guy, Barry, aka Barry Israel. What's up? What's up, my people? Listen, I'm bringing some great vibes again, once again. Yesterday, I put out a vid called "The Time Is Coming," and it's out there. But I'm on my purpose right now, and right now, my great vibers. I was gonna do a vid about the market of beast system, but I'm not going there. I'm not even gonna waste my breath with that because it's over anyway. I want to stay on purpose and keep people going with what's currently happening, explain things that they may not have thought about before. And so today, the title of this video is going to be about what the FISA warrants are really about, the hidden exposed. We all remember the FISA warrant situation that dogged the last president's term. Actually, it was a big deal because cats got caught out there doing nefarious things with illegally surveilling and spying people, his campaign, inside of his campaign. A lot of things went down with that FISA, but what you got to understand too is that FISA was bigger than that. It wasn't really just about him. It was about us, the American people, and what that's all about. You got to understand, we already are born and come into a system. As 1 John 4:2-9 tells you, the Antichrist, beast, prince of dark system is here. When you're born, you come into it. That's what the Adam and Eve whole thing was about. Actually. So we are born into this system. It's nothing that's coming. It's no one person. It's no one man. It is a collective mindset of people that basically they're fools that walk in the darkness because they come from the darkness. And that's what it is. And they've had their time to rule. They've had their time, and now their time is up. And that's what you're seeing all of this about. They never thought the day would come that they would have to give up their power and vacate. But this is what you're seeing. So we're going through this transition. It's those, a lot are awake, and then there's a lot that's not. But this FISA warrant situation was not just about the last president and what he went through. It's actually activities that have been against the American people, the public, and it's been going on for years. It was an old Nazi program that they moved from over there to over here, but it's been around since biblical times first began, but they just didn't have the technology to do it in the same way, but it was the same type of activity going on, citizens spying on citizens, but really that's citizens of the dark. So our community, we've always had community terrorism from these dark communities that's here and that's been here. It's been here. They try to talk about terrorists from other places, but it's always been community terrorism right here where we're from. And these are the real tentacles. So with all the other stuff, what I mentioned in my last video about the tentacles, this is part of the tentacles, and this is one of the main part of the tentacles that has to be cut off. And that's what the FISA warrant thing was about. And when that last president was in, he did a lot of things, executive orders that were seizing people's assets that were involved in these activities, because this was something that was set up on a more legitimate way after 9/11 through what they call fusion centers. So you have them in every state, everywhere. You have these same so-called rich people, whoever you want to call them, capitalists setting up companies, getting government contracts to set up assessment teams to go and basically illegally spy on people, illegally surveil people without FISA warrants. This is being done not just to the last president's campaign, but it's something that was being done to all American citizens, especially those that have woke, that break the code, especially those that are empaths or super empaths, especially those that have had their names turned in by, it could be your pastors through the clergy response team program, which over 1 million pastors are involved in from the 501(c) program. They turn in names. It's so many different ways that names are turned in or given and you're putting on there. But one of the biggest are when you start to rise to a level of consciousness, a chip we all given, whether it's through the vaccinations or however, once your consciousness is raised, it dissolves. And that's like the red alert goes out. So a lot of time people are in these programs unknowingly, but you have those that have been in this, and you can find it on YouTube. People call it gang stalking. Some people call it community stalking. That's how I view it, community stalking, but some people call it gang stalking. People call it targeted individuals. That stuff is real. You can go on YouTube and see it and see what people have been through. I've actually helped some people that have been in that when I was in my political days, when I was a campaign strategist for some people that I helped that was running for office. If they were running against somebody that didn't appreciate that, they would try to put them under that program. So I learned a lot about this stuff, how it goes down, what it's about. I'm not going to get too deep in that. I just want to stick to the FISA warrant issue was really something that's bigger than that, because as Americans, you've had more than 7.5 million people that have filed formal complaints because of being under this and being involved with it, being gang stalk, community stalk, or whatever you may want to call it. You can just YouTube and find out stuff for yourself to understand what they try to do to some of these people, man, is try to make them look like something's wrong with them. But the unfortunate thing is those 7.5 million people are running to the system that's basically a part of it that runs it. So it's not a good look, because there's really no way out. And this is what the FISA thing was about. How citizens, it wasn't just about him, are really all, that's the hidden truth behind this. How over 7.5 million citizens a year file this stuff, but it doesn't do no good because it's part of the beast system. It's part of the system that's in play. So that's just basically gives them alert and let them know that they're getting to you, is what it actually does. So you have people that unfortunately fall victim to that, that's placed in that. And then you have to ask yourself now, if 7.5 million people filed about this stuff, you got to understand that at least it takes 10 or more people to watch that one person, because they're called assessment teams. They're brought out in groups. They're using P2, P5 tracking technology. They put GPSs on your cars. And this is just to harass you. This is their goal is to either make you crazy, make you react and get in trouble because the law is waiting on you anyway to do something, or either kill yourself. That's their goal. This is how they get off on this stuff. And that's the biggest thing behind these FISAs, because so many Americans are under this program without FISA warrants, because you couldn't be able to go to a court and ask for over 7 million FISA warrants to file people. They're going to be like, hey, what's going on here? So this stuff is being done illegally. It's part of the beast system, part of the harassment. You see the people, they do go on YouTube and they react. I told you where to find it. You can go under the title target individuals, gang stalking, and you will see what people are going through. And it's a lot more that goes unreported. But if you're saying it's 10 people on these assessment teams or more, that's the least, because they have to keep a certain amount so that you can't prove stalking against them. So they enlist a different variety of people to do this, of all ages, colors, and ethnic groups. It's no limit to it. It doesn't matter. So this is the things that are going on. So you're talking, you got over 70 million people involved. And if you got 7.5 million filed complaints, and you know it's over a group of 10 watching them, messing with them, that's over 70 million people plus that's involved in this program. And this is the real swamp of your local communities, your counties, your states. This is the real swamp. That's the real deal. And that's part of the disclosure with the FISA warrants that they didn't come out and tell you. And this is the intel I'm bringing you on that, so that, you can be aware. These things are happening. It's real. So when people come out with that, you can't make fun, think they're bugging. No, they're not. They're going through these things. I personally help people. I've had to maneuver and deal with certain things, but that's life. It happens when you start awakening. But when you show them your line and you're stronger than that, you're going to still get the results you get and understand that. And then some people awaken and don't even realize, for whatever reason, they just don't realize that they're under that. Even though they may have a hinge, they don't want to start believing, like, am I being followed? Am I being tracked to tail? And there's various ways that they enact this. You can go to your dentist. They'll turn around, have the dentist chip you. It's that wild. This is how crazy this program is, because they get paid big money to do that. So now you running around, cats know you got a RFD chip in you. They sitting there on these tracking devices, tracking you everywhere you go. But if for some reason that doesn't work, that's when they resort to one of the last measures they don't like to do is put a GPS on your vehicle, because at any time you might be able to take it somewhere and find that it's on there. And it's a whole different ball game. So that's one of the last resorts they go to when you find out about the other tracking device and have it removed from your person or whatever. But these are the things that's really going on behind the FISA warrants. And the really big deal that, the last president, everybody else couldn't really come out and say. They couldn't come out publicly and tell you, oh, well, you know what? All of our citizens are under that, because people wouldn't know how to take it at the time, I believe. And that would have been more few because, of course, the tele media and all of them would have spun that, when there's actually been a program that's been here a long time, but it was ushered in more after 9/11. That was a legitimate reason to really start using more of your dollars and your money to push that. But at the end of the day, it's a violation of your privacy, just like it was with that last president's campaign. They made that a big issue, but the bigger scope of that was about the fact that it wasn't just a violation of his campaign and things that happened. That was the little disclosure to the bigger disclosure of a program that's in place in your communities. Like I said, over 7 point people involved in this. And you guys ask yourself, like, what kind of citizen or what person would even involve themselves in a program like that? These people that do that are they're the lowest life forms of people you can find. That's all I can tell you. They're the lowest life levels of people you can find that will get involved in this, but they're coming from all ethnic groups. They're coming from all ages, young, old. And what are their rewards are? You got to understand, like on the higher levels in the industry, whether it's movie industry, whether it's the sports, whether it's music, acting, people, what do they say, at times have to sign a contract and sell their soul. Well, you also have these things going on at the lower levels. People are selling their soul, because that's what you're doing. When you're sitting here and basically harassing somebody, trying to stalk somebody, and you're doing it for material gain, you're going to have a price to pay. And I'm going to get to that and explain that. So these people that are doing it on these lower levels now, they're doing it for Walmart gift cards, store gift cards. They're doing it for partial car allowances that they may get. And I'm not even going to name the dealerships involved in that stuff, but they're getting partial car allowances from these groups and assessment teams that are set up, with names like human resources management, and they get all these cute little names. And sometimes they're set up as private security firms, and that's what they do. But they got contracts through diffusion centers, which you can Google and see what that's about and why they ushered in. But this is what they do, and that's where a lot of the money comes. But a lot of that money was seized, was cut dry after the last president, because he understood what that was about after being under that illegal FISA warrant activity that he had to go through, or the FISA warrant activity that he was going through at the time, that big issue that they were speaking about. So you have regular Americans that's going through the same thing. So that's the really big thing behind all of that. It wasn't just him. It's what so many Americans are going through. Some of them know about it. Some people don't. And probably it's better that some don't, because they might not be able to handle it if they did know. But it's just unfortunate that you're sitting there and having your privacy violated. They know everything you do when you leave the house, when you come back, when you just do. It's just terrible what they do. They'll set you up with neighbors that'll sit there and stomp all night, slam their doors all night, play the music all night. Just crazy things that these people do. And this is what the darkness is about. This is what this system is about. But it's really to attack like the super empath, the people that are awakening. And then right now, they're really on it with attacking certain bloodline groups that are going to be coming into power now, because the old darkness is gone. That bloodline, that group is gone. And that's what people have to understand. And that was their whole game, to trying to set up this system well, not try, they did set it up nationwide, was to keep that light down so that their darkness could stay longer. But it didn't work. It didn't work, and it's drying up. People have been arrested from doing this stuff, but you're not going to hear about it. The media is not going to expose that or tell you about this stuff. So that's why I'm bringing you the intel of things that was actually going on behind this FISA thing. But it's just another form of community terrorism. That's why you're here to talk about that now. They want to, we want to put in programs for community terrorism. They're projecting. They're really talking about themselves, but now they want to project it like it's other people. So it's everything these cats do. You got to really understand it's the opposite. It's called projection, and a lot of that stuff is going on now. But it's just unfortunate, that this B system is in place because it has ruined people's lives. People have lost their lives behind this. People have went into despair, lost everything because of this type of a system. This Nazi-Stasi program is exactly what it is that was done. So that was one of the biggest things with the FISA that they didn't tell you, that they're not going to tell you, is that not only was it about that last president's campaign, it's a program that so many millions of Americans are under, especially when you wake up. It's like boom, 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 alarms go off if you wasn't already entered into that through some person that recognized that is connected to that. Because you got to understand that dark was running things for a long time, but they're not now. So it's kind of like in the panic mode thing of what's happening and what's going on. But, it's nothing but predator behavior, and they won't have power over you if you don't give it to them. So don't give it to them, because they get off on seeing people distracted, distressed. They get off on seeing people doing the YouTube videos of, see, they're following me and this and that. Go watch these videos and you'll see what I'm saying about targeted individuals and gang stuff. And what they don't understand is these people get off on that stuff. They get off because a lot of times also it ushered in a bigger program because they're able to infiltrate your home, put cameras and devices in your home. And then they got your neighbor sitting there monitoring that type of stuff. And like I said, they're paying people with Walmart gift cards, car allowances, because now you might see Ray or Debbie or Crazy Karen, whoever. You might see all these people now all of a sudden driving cars. You're like, where did you get that car from? So it's so many little things going on, how they reward them. But basically, you done sold your soul. It's what you have. And these days, being that the darkness is no longer ruling, when you do those things, there's immediate karmic payback for that. There's no more, you used to sit back and see like, yo, white person is so mean and wild, but nothing seems to ever happen to them because darkness was ruling. Darkness is what was the rule of the day. So they was getting away with that energy because that's the energy that was running things. But that energy isn't running things now. So you can sit there and still play with that darkness, but you're catching your karma immediately. And that's the good thing to know. And that's the thing I want to tell the people out there that's going through that, that's making those videos, that's going through that type of stuff, is that those people involved in this, they catch the karma immediately. And that's the good thing in understanding that the Most High is not going for it no more, man. The time is up. And these are the things they already had. So 1984 was already in place, man. All these new apartments they building, the hotels you're going to, they're already coming equipped through the fire sprinklers. If you Google the fire sprinkler systems with cameras, do that. What you'll see the fire sprinklers come up with the red lines in them. And that means they're able to be Bluetooth and camera enabled. Now, when you go places now, look at those fire sprinkler systems and see what you see. So the program is already here. 1984 is already here. They're building and designing the new places you're living in with the stuff already there. Where all they got to do, call your crooked internet service provider, boom, turn on the switch. They can watch and see everything you do, man. So this program has been here for a while. This is nothing new. It's nothing new, but now they're doing it more through their technology because it's harder for them to get caught. Even though they have been and things have been happening, you just haven't been hearing about it. You haven't been hearing about the arrest and the groups going down with that stuff. But it's prevalent. And that's why I say the system has to go down all the way, because these things have to go with it. They have to crash, because if not, you're not truly free. You're not truly living the way you should be and want to live with these type of programs going on in our society and our communities. This is what's happening. You got people making those videos, like I said, is proof of that. You got what they put out there about what this last president went through with the FISA warrant issue. It wasn't just about him. It was the bigger thing that they never told you about, that I just gave you a brief explanation on. So basically, you're sitting there and putting people through illegal surveillance, basically trying to harass them. Sometimes, if they don't know what they're going through, you try to make it known so you can play the mind games with them. So it's so much things going on, but they're catching it for their negativity, because the bottom line is the darkness, their time is up. Their time is up, man. But so the FISA warrant issue is really a community issue in every community, in every state. Don't think it's not. It is. That's the real swamp, y'all. That's the real swamp that has to be drained and cleaned up. Like I said, if you have over 7.5 million people filing complaints, but unfortunately they're filing complaints to the very system that's part of it. So it doesn't go anywhere. It never goes anywhere. Rarely does it go anywhere. Sometimes, depending on what community you're from and whatever law enforcement is in charge at that time, if you catch the right one and something happened and you're able to get people caught up through just a lot of work, then yeah, people have prevailed in that, through my research. People definitely have. But like I said, I've helped people that been through this, that was going through that. And it's unfortunate, man. And that people experience that. And I know, I'm telling you now, and those are one of the things, when people awake, you're going to go through it in some form or fashion. That's just the bottom line. There is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And that's what I think affects some people's awakening, because crazy stuff start happening and they can't figure out or understand why. And so it affects their awakening. It affects them trying to go higher and higher, or question, or staying capped at a certain level, because so many other crazy stuff is happening that you couldn't go and tell the average person that's not awake. They're going to look at you like you're bugging. So it's those type of things and activities and tentacles that are actually going on that the creator, that the Most High is going to take care of. And it's on the way. It's happening already. Like I said, a lot of that money's dried up. So right now they're still doing these programs off of laundered money and other sources, because the other sources had ran out. The last president cut that stuff. Believe that. So right now it's still happening, because the money's, like I said, laundered monies that was stored, that they were using, and that's drying up. So it's fading from what I've been seeing. It is definitely, it's fading, but it's still here. But you're going to see it more in blue states than the red, but it's still in the red states too. But you're going to see it there more in theirs. But it's overall, though, it's throughout the whole nation, man, throughout most communities. And so people are being tracked, being harassed, going through things without FISA warrants. So which means they are being illegally surveilled and harassed. Stalked is what it really is, by these predators that basically have sold their soul for a car allowance to ride in a car that they normally wouldn't be able to get, to live in an apartment building or condos that they would never be able to live in, to go to certain places that they would never be able to get in. They've sold their soul to do that, to get that extra Walmart gift card or whatever. They're doing this stuff, running around with tracking apps, man. So it's wild. It's wild that our society has come to that, but everything is coming around for full disclosure, so that it can be. And that's why I say it is going to go down, because with this type of stuff in the community, you can fix everything you want in DC, but it won't. When you take the head off, you got to come get the tentacles next, and that's what it does. The tentacles start dying off, and that's what the monetary system change and all of that is about to. Has to take all those resources away to wipe these programs away, man. Because 1984 was here, alive and well. So be mindful. You go to those new apartments and hotels, all you do is get a Bluetooth firewall, boom, boom, app, hit that joint and watch that joint light up like a Christmas tree. It'll let you know how many devices are in that room that are camera and Bluetooth enabled. It's that simple. Go to your Play Store, hit it, boom, and it'll tell you. So when you go into places like that, you'll know. So before, you used to think people were going planting stuff in hotels. Nah, it's already coming equipped like that through the different systems that they have, man. So it's wild, the things that they've done, they've put into place, and then they try to act like, oh, Big Brother is watching you, or we're not there yet. No, we're there. They're already there. You understand, they've had so much time to put these systems into place. But like I said, right now, if they legally had a reason to do this, they still couldn't justify 7 million FISA warrants. But it's unfortunate that people have to go through this, but this is what you go through when you're dealing with dark-minded people. Ecclesiastes 2:14, King Solomon tell you that, the fools who walk in darkness are the fools who come from darkness and will never know light. And also 1 John 4:2-9, it tells you Antichrist, all this stuff is already here. We just been taught wrong, y'all, but it's in there. It's in that word of what we're already in. And once you understand that, you can move forward. But the hidden truth behind those FISA warrants is the fact that it's in our communities now. Big Brother's been here, He is here, and they're designing all these new places, marvelous places they putting up. Whoever they want to target is easier for them to boom, hit the switch to your apartment and watch them. Because you got all of the beast companies that's in cahoots with this. They're in the beast system. The only way you're gonna operate in it is if you got to abide by their rules and get down with them like that. But now that the stuff is fading out, man. It's fading out. They definitely losing lost power. You can just see by the things that's going on in DC. But it's unfortunate, man, that we got cowards and low life type of people running around like this, doing this to other people, man. Other people that ain't strong, that are not strong enough to handle, that are weak to begin with, and then they get off on that stuff. They get off sitting there watching this, man. Yeah, your fellow, who's supposed to be your fellow neighbor, fellow American, people running around doing this stuff to people. When I learned about this stuff through, like I said, helping others, when I was in the political game, and then started seeing video on this stuff, I was like, wow, this is something else. And it's alive and real, man. And it's unfortunate, but like I said, it's over. Their time is up, man. Their time is up. So my great vibers, the FISA warrants was really about the beast system and what it was actually doing to the citizens, not just the last president, what it's been doing to the citizens. But things were done behind the scenes to try to lessen that by taking funding through certain organizations that were putting it in that direction. So it has worked, but you got to always remember too, when you're dealing with that beast system, they had money put away where they still enacted, but not as much as they want. So what they do now is they're taking a program and they're just targeting those that are more relevant, those that just bring a certain type of energy, so they're focusing more on that and not broad like any and everybody they want to before. It doesn't work now. They're being specific with it, specific bloodlines, specific people, specific persons. That's what they're doing with it now. But it's here, it's prevalent, man. But all I can say is that these cowards, they day is coming. Their time is coming, man. And it's one of them things. And it's here. It's actually here. So really, you gotta understand, people like that, they're the ones that's suffering. They're the ones that's sick. So they're really suffering inside because of all their insecurities of wherever they from, wherever they've been about. But like I said, when you walk in the darkness, when you come from the darkness, that's just what it is. You can't even be mad. You can't take that stuff personal because a lot of times they want you to. They want you to get in the emotional traps that they're in, that they're stuck in, to have to do low lifey stuff like that. So you pray for them, and that's it. Because their time is up. And you know that right now they're paying that debt back, and they will pay it immediately now. And that's the good part about it. People, we got these the angels, they out here working overtime. People paying their karmic debt immediately. All you got to do is look around and look at the news and see all the things that are happening, man. People are paying their karmic debts immediately now, including those locally that's involved in that type of garbage, man. And it's nothing but straight garbage from low lights, but these things are going on. So take the time. If you want to learn more about this, go ahead and Google that stuff like gang stalker just to see and have an understanding of what I'm trying to tell you. That's what the FISA warrants really, really are hiding. That's the big deal with those, that we've already been placed under an illegal surveillance program, y'all, that was being done through fusion, under the guise of fusion centers, which was, run by the Department of Homeland Security, but I don't believe that's the case now. I think that funding was taken, was dried up, but you still had these nefarious groups that, from other monies that they done laundered and got, that they were using it, but now they have to be specific of who they target. It can't be as broad because they just can't use taxpayers' money like that no more. So my great vibers, with that, I want to once again bring you some more intel because it was just that time. Now is the time to bring this, and I'm gonna have to switch back to my other flow, my spiritual flow videos and all that good stuff. But I just had to bring some information for my people and let them cowards know we got you. We got your number, man. We got your number, and we know your time is up. All right, my great vibers. I just want to tell you, peace, 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 peace. First, last. All right. You have a great week, great day. Keep your head up with your grass cut, man. All right. And for those of you that may be going through that stuff, man, it's real. It's real, but just find other ways to cope. Go look at stuff and those things I told you, maybe give you ideas of how to handle. Because there's people out there that's going through, like I said, there's so much of it that goes unreported. But to have over 70 million Americans involved with spying on other citizens, this country was and is in deep doo-doo. And that's why the creator has to come and clean it up. Have to at every level. So it's just not about that other big stuff that's happening, man. It's the local level mess that's happening. That's the real issue. That's the real tentacles. That's the real problem. All right. Peace.